Thank you very much, Madam Chair, and thank you all for coming in today. Really do appreciate it. I'm proud to support law enforcement and believe that the VA law enforcement plays an essential role in ensuring the security of veterans and the VA facilities. We've seen a troubling increase in crime at VA facilities despite the number of veterans frequenting VA facilities having gone down due to telehealth and care in the community. Policing is a hard job that requires courage, strength, and grit. And I have seen firsthand the important work that police officers in Montana and across the country do to make our community safer. Additionally, we must ensure that police officers' Second Amendment rights are not being infringed upon when they receive health care at the VA facilities. I'm working on legislation that would bolster the Second Amendment rights of all citizens at the VA, whether they be private citizens or law enforcement, as a direct result of requests from patients that are currently attending there. They think that their rights are being infringed upon, and we've recognized that they actually have been. And there's those who would try to make it even more difficult for the patients to be able to feel comfortable in exercising their Second Amendment rights. Mr. Brown, the testimony that you provided mentioned negative media coverage and public sentiment towards law enforcement can deter individuals from pursuing careers in policing. Mr. Montoya also stated negative perception as a major hurdle in maintaining an adequate law enforcement presence at the VA, and I'm sure that this also contributes to the 8% quit rate that you also referenced. So I've just got a couple of simple questions for you, Mr. Brown. Do you think rhetoric calling for defunding the police harms recruitment?
The word defunding seems harmful.
Okay. Do you think that saying, and I quote, law enforcement doesn't protect or save lives, they often threaten and take them?
I don't agree.
Arms recruiting?
Can you repeat the question?
Do you think that someone saying law enforcement doesn't protect or save lives, they often threaten and take them? Do you think that that statement harms recruiting?
It does.
Okay. Do you think saying policing in our country is inherently and intentionally racist harms recruiting efforts?
Absolutely.
Do you think district attorneys deciding not to prosecute armed robberies and allowing violent criminals to remain on the street harms recruiting?
Absolutely.
Okay, I really appreciate that. Would you also agree that it's reprehensible that these are all quotes and actions that have been taken by prominent Democrat politicians in the past few years?
I would agree with politicians.
We should be praising law enforcement, not tearing them down. Mr. Brown, I've heard several complaints that when VA medical centers spend tens of thousands of dollars to send new officers to law enforcement training center in Arkansas, if they do return to the same medical center, the VA medical center at all, they are often dejected and looking for another opportunity. Do you think that law enforcement training center is somewhat responsible for VA's abysmal retention stats?
Yeah, I'd like to respond. Thank you for the question. We have recently looked at the Law Enforcement Training Center, partnered with them as our educational institution, modified the training institution. In FY25, we will have them expand their territory from Little Rock to other parts of the country where training is needed. And when that team goes out to those areas, we have reduced the amount of expense or cost to the course.
Sure. So do you think that rather than just going out and building a new mousetrap, if you will, that if there's adequate or equal training can be undertaken in other parts of the country, that's easier for officers to attend and less costly for the VA medical centers to send them to? Shouldn't that be able to be utilized?
Yes, sir. We're on our second pilot as we stand today. In Orlando, the second group of police officers in this pilot will graduate June the 5th.
Good deal. Thank you very much for your answers. And again, thank the committee very much for the panel for coming in today.
Thank you.
I yield back, Madam Chair.